A lot of people are taking a long time to fulfill their dreams and to achieve their goals because they don't have the right information. Welcome. Today we're going to be having our first guest, Dr. Nzube Egboluche, and I've known her in person, and it's an honor to have her here so that we can have this conversation. The reason for us to start this conversation is so that we can be able to add value to other people through our stories, because a lot of people struggle, or they think that the endeavor that they're into, like for example, going to school in the US or the UK, it doesn't matter where you're going to school, or even starting a business, sometimes people think it's too hard until they hear somebody else did it. And the purpose for this is to share our values, our stories, so that you can get some value from it. So I'm gonna welcome our guest, and she's gonna introduce herself. She'll tell us more, and then we're gonna go into this conversation that I believe you'll get a lot of value from it. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Gucheki. I'm really so pleased to be here today to share my experience, because I know the best teacher is always your experience, and it's actually very good that you learn from people's experience, especially those who walk through the path that you are actually, trying to walk through, so you can get some tips and also avoid other mistakes they have made.
Yes.
That also leads to success. And my name is Dr. Nzube Egboluche. I am an educational coach, a data analyst, and also a mentor. And I've been in this path, educating myself and acquiring skills in order to, to be successful in this path. Just as any one of you who is watching today, you want to get to a particular point, and you are learning from us who have gone through this path. So on this platform, we'll be sharing and giving you tips on our experience and our journey so far, and how we've come to where we've come today. And I believe most of you will really get valuable information that we add to whatever you've known before, and also add value to you while you're on your journey. Thank you again, Dr. Gucheki, for having me.
It's a great pleasure, and it's a great honor. I believe that this conversation will be able to transform people's life and add value, as we said. So I know you are from Nigeria, and I know we have been friends for some time. I know you came here to the US as a student, and that's why I would like us to pick up from this conversation and start this conversation. Can you tell us, like, okay, did you go to the university in the US alone, or you went to the university in Nigeria, or what level did you leave when you were living in Nigeria to come here to be a student?
Sure. I will tell you my dream, actually. My dream to study abroad actually started while I was in secondary school.
Okay, that is high school.
Yes. So that has been my dream, to study abroad. And so when I finished secondary school, I actually, applied to do my undergrad abroad. I took what they call SAT, which is the standard test when you want to do undergrad. I did that SAT, but unfortunately, my score was really high, but not as high for me to get 100% tuition scholarship. Oh. So with that, my parents didn't really have money to sponsor me abroad. So I had to do my undergrad in Nigeria at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. So my undergraduate was actually in story science. Whenever I say this, some people will be like, really? Yes, really. My undergraduate was in story science, and I did that. I told myself at that point, because I was so disappointed and so, so demoralized with life, because I didn't get what I want, which is studying abroad, right?
Yeah.
But what I told myself is, I can be anywhere. If I'm the best, I can be best anywhere. That was the one thing I told myself, that I would prove to these people that I'm very intelligent.
Yeah.
That was what I told myself, that I'm going to prove to them I'm so intelligent. So when I started studying story science, I told myself I would be the best student in that class. Mm-hmm. And so that was where my hard work really started. And while going through school, and fast forward to my graduation, I came out the best graduating student, class
Awesome.
of 2012 in the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Department of Soil Science. So, I was so proud of myself because I'm like, yes, I did it, even though I didn't go abroad for my undergrad. I was in Nigeria, and then I still proved to be the best student. However, my dream to study abroad didn't leave. I was still honing that dream.
Okay.
And then after my graduation, I started again my search. How can I, study abroad? And that was where I actually started, YouTube, going to cyber cafe because at the time I didn't have a laptop. I didn't even have a smartphone because, the money wasn't there. I
Yeah.
came from a poor background. So I can only utilize whatever I can lay my hands on. And so I was just spending whatever I have on cyber cafe,
Yeah.
going there to browse, to check on things and watch other things I may watch, and also talk to people because I noticed people who were coming there were also trying to get ahead. So I was also
Yeah.
talking to friends over there. And yeah, with that, I started connecting the dots. And my connecting the dot is since the issue or the hindrance for me to travel abroad to study was the issue of tuition, that is financial support.
Yeah.
My search was how can I, get this scholarship? What should I do? Where should I go to? Who should I talk to? If I need a sponsor, who am I talking to? I'm telling my dad, you need to talk to your friends. If you don't have money, they
So,
should have money.
so you're talking about sponsoring for the school or for going to the embassy?
No, to study abroad
Study abroad.
because
Okay.
I realized that my biggest challenge is the financial.
Finance. Okay.
Yeah, so that was my biggest challenge because I have proven that I'm intelligent. I came out the best. I had a very good GPA.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to get admission. But not just the admission, I had the challenge of sponsoring that my graduate program abroad, which I know is the most challenge most international students face today, right?
Yes.
You may have a good GPA, you may have whatever it takes, but can you sponsor yourself? Do you have the financial to sponsor yourself abroad? So for me, at that time, was my most challenge, right? And
Yeah.
that was the thing that would have stopped me from coming. But because I know my challenge, what I was doing was working hard. What can I do to overcome this challenge?
Okay.
And that was where, my researching, going online, meeting people, talking to them to know what to do.
So yeah, I mean that's interesting because and I know we're gonna get back to that about financial hardship and how to overcome it. I know we're gonna get to that end, but I want us to go back. So you identified the schools that you gonna apply to, and then now you start application. How many schools did you apply for you to be able to get the school that you got into?
So at the point, I applied to 3 schools,
3 schools. Okay.
but I actually was applying to 3 schools, but I submit when I noticed, because while you are doing your application, you are communicating with admission officers or whoever, you could email in the school. So I noticed that among the 3 schools I started application with, I was, gearing towards Michigan State University, which is the school that gave me admission,
Okay.
because I was receiving more response and support from the admission officers.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was like, okay, because I'm getting more direction and directive from this school, I must as well focus on this school, right?
Yeah.
So I just went online and Googled. I didn't know about Michigan State. I didn't even know where Michigan State was located. I didn't know anything, but I just Googled the school that offer my course, and schools came up. I just chose, just by Google, I chose the schools I wanted.
Okay.
And there was how I started my application.
Okay, I think there's something that I want to go back to that I think is very valuable, especially if it's a person is applying to schools here in the US. You talked about TOEFL. Did you talk about TOEFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the exam that we are supposed to, this called a standardized exam. I think it's English and mathematics. I did it. I can't remember, but it's been a while. But I think you said something very important, that depending on the score that you can get a full scholarship.
Yes.
And you see, that is, a lot of people don't. Actually, personally, I never knew that. That's very important information for you who is listening. And if you can pass this information, try as much as possible to get the highest score on SAT or in these standardized exams, because they're gonna determine if you're gonna get a full scholarship.
Yes.
And then another very valuable thing you're talking, and I've seen you've really insisted on this one, is about communicating, finding people who are going to the same direction that you're going to, or who are, because that's how you collect information, gather information that is going to be helpful for you to be successful in this endeavor. And then last but not least, and this is, I'm just picking up so that these points can be able to stick out. You say that while you are applying, you're in communication with the universities that you're applying. And this, you are Nigeria, you don't know US, you don't know even where Michigan is, and you've sent an email with all this confidence, but they get back to you. So I think sometimes, and this is a problem that for me, I found myself had to overcome, it's okay to ask a question. Don't die with your questions. And I think that's, most people don't know this thing. You can send an email to the school, and some of the contact that we should keep in mind, I believe you said number one was the admissions office. Is there any other office that somebody can be able to contact at the university they're applying to?
So it's always good on the website or the program you're applying to, you have what they call the graduate coordinator.
Okay.
Right? Or even emailing the School of Graduate Studies.
Okay.
You can do that. So I just utilize whatever email that comes to mind. Like I go to the program website, I look at the departmental chair, I write down the name and the email. The graduate coordinator, I write down the email and the name. So that, and then of course, the School of Graduate Studies is where you submit your application on. So it's also very good to email them at any point when you are, when you are facing a challenge or you are confused about anything. So those are really very important, communication, because this is something you've not done before, right?
Yes.
So you want to be clear and not assume, because you can't just assume when the answers are there. And you can ask questions. So it's really very important to be in communication. And I want to also mention, while I was researching on, talking to people, I actually had a mentor. I got a mentor who was able to mentor me throughout this process, even though I was doing my own part.
When you mean a mentor at the university, or what do you mean by a mentor? Somebody
a
in
mentor
Nigeria?
is a mentor, not at the university, but someone who already have passed through this whole process. The person came to the US as an international student. So the person was mentoring me, guiding me, and I'm also doing my own part.
Awesome.
Right? So that was, I would tell you, that was really so helpful, because if I was just doing what I know based on Google or whatever, it may yield something, but not as much as having someone who have actually experienced the whole process and was successful. So my mentor was so instrumental during this process. And getting a mentor is, you have to talk, you have to open your mouth and ask. Look for people who have gone through that part and talk to them and say, this is your plan, this is your goal, you really want to do this, but you don't know how. And people are willing to help, She was so instrumental. I don't want to emphasize how much she was. She was so instrumental during my application process. In as much as I am the one pioneering, I need it. I'm the one that want this to happen to me. So I was putting in more work, then she was guiding me through it. So it was really instrumental.
I think that is important. We can never undervalue the importance of having a mentor. I think when I think about mentorship, and especially in a journey that you've not been on or you've not gone before, a mentor helps you in terms of focusing. There's all this information online, but if you have somebody who can help you get the right information, it's going to save you a lot of time.
Yes. It did.
So going back to now, you apply the school. So I know and maybe a lot of people know about this, you're gonna get a letter of admission and you're gonna get an I-20. And then the I-20 is what you're going to use to go to the embassy. So I'm from Kenya, so I'm not sure if the same process is the same for all US entries, but I believe they should be about the same. So how was your journey? How was your experience for you now? You got your admission, you got your I-20. I-20, for those who don't know, is that document that shows the immigration that you've been given admission. So now you are going to the embassy. So how was that experience?
Sure, I will tell you. So just before I got my I-20, the Michigan State, when they were about to offer admission, I was told to write a TOEFL exam.
Okay.
At that time, TOEFL was compulsory. Like, you must write a TOEFL if you are coming from outside of the US, Canada, and other English-speaking countries. But these days, it's not even mandatory, because most of once your mode of instruction is in English, you don't need TOEFL or IELTS,
Okay.
right? So these days is not mandatory, but those days, those years, it was mandatory. Even though I sent a letter from the University of Nigeria, from the registrar, showing that our mode of instruction was in English.
Yes.
I was still told to write the TOEFL. Okay. So I had to actually write my TOEFL the next available date.
Yeah.
I had to write my TOEFL the next available date. So so that was when I told them I've written my TOEFL. So they sent my official admission letter. Okay. So that was when I know, of course, once you have your official admission letter, you now know that you're admitted into the school. So when I got my admission offer, I emailed different professors within the program, right? So I emailed them. I think I did this before my admission came. Okay. So I emailed the professors before my admission came. So letting them know that I'm interested, in their research. Okay. I'm interested in the school. I really want to do this. I told them my plan after graduation, the kind of career I want to have, and the kind of research I want to do. I emailed about 5 professors within this school. So 3 people got back to me. One of them told me he doesn't have opening in his lab. The other professor sent me a scholarship link telling me to apply to this scholarship. That this scholarship is for international students. However, she doesn't have opening in her lab. Yeah. Then another professor sent me the same scholarship link and told me that she doesn't have opening now, but if I'm admitted, that she'll be able to take me in by the summer. Awesome. Right? So you can see how emailing professors, especially if you're a graduate student, if you're applying for a graduate program, that was so good. Emailing professors during your admission process or your application process is a key to you getting admission and getting financial support. So when the professor sent me that link, scholarship link, I opened it and I was like, oh, this scholarship is 2 weeks to deadline. Am I sure I can apply to this? Yeah. Do the whole application and submit in 2 weeks. I had to go to work with my mentor. I told her, I got this email, I got this scholarship link. The deadline is in 2 weeks. I'm not sure I can, put in a strong application in 2 weeks. But you know what? She really encouraged me and was assisting me in reviewing my application scholarship essays. Yeah. Reviewing, giving comments, and I'm editing and all of that. So in 2 weeks, it was an intensive 2 weeks for me because I was working day, night, no stop until I make sure my scholarship application was complete and the essays are strong with no grammatical errors. I submitted my scholarship application. The deadline was February 2nd. Yeah. I submitted my application February 2nd. I think at about 12 p.m.
Wow.
US time.
Yeah.
So to tell you how, because that scholarship is so important to me, because even though I have an admission, once there is no financial support, I can't still attend the school.
Yes.
So that scholarship was all I needed. And I put in everything I've got.
So now we talked about emailing the admissions office. Also, it's very important to email the international students office. You can also, now you're talking about professors, which is very important. I remember when I applied for my graduate school, after I joined, I realized some of the professors who actually saw my application and made the decision, they told me basically, I liked your personal statement. And I don't want to get there, but we're going to talk about now, later on, I'd like to talk about what is required, like the process and all that. But I want us to go to, now you got your I-20 and you got your admission letter, you got your scholarship. Was the scholarship helpful in terms of going to because I know a lot of people are afraid of it's a big challenge to get the visa now to come here. So your visa process, how did that go?
Oh yeah. So, and to tell you, my scholarship, which was the MasterCard Scholarship Foundation Program. That's the name of the scholarship I got.
Yeah.
So my scholarship basically paid for my visa application.
Oh, very nice.
And it was very good, because when I presented my I-20 to the consular at the US Embassy, they already saw that I have a scholarship, a fully funded scholarship.
And
so the only question they asked me was, what am I going to the US to study? I told them I'm going to Michigan State University to study master's program in soil science. And they were like, how did I know about this scholarship? What is it all about? I told them what the scholarship was all about. Right. So, and that was it. That was it. They just gave me my visa. The scholarship most times is always instrumental in you getting your visa, because they want to know, can you actually sponsor yourself? Irrespective of other things. They want to know if you want to sponsor yourself. However, there are some that may get a scholarship. I know, but if you cannot answer the questions they asked you, then it's a problem. They'll be like,
of course, if you don't answer those questions, it shows you're not serious, or you have no idea. Maybe you never did the application. Yes. So I think when anybody goes to the embassy, first of all, you have to be confident. You have to understand. You have to have an awareness of all the documents that you're having, and what basically you have to have sure that you are very much aware of everything that's going on with your life, and that's your responsibility. So at least now, from your end, now you got your visa. Now you're in the US. Michigan is very cold. I think you got here in this fall semester.
Yes.
So how did you now navigate? You're a new student. Like, how did you now registering for classes? How did you go about all that? Which classes did you pick? Did you get a mentor once you got here? Just tell me the whole thing, how you navigate as a new student.
So immediately I got into Michigan State University because the scholarship program was really, helpful in terms of navigating the whole, process within the school.
Yes.
Because they had to, of course, I had a advisor.
Yeah.
So I went to my advisor to help me register the courses, show me how things are done.
Yeah.
So my advisor was instrumental in terms of course registration. And then once she showed me how to do it, we registered my first semester course. Then I picked up from there. I already know how to do it, right?
Yes.
Then the scholarship program was also able to organize a session where they were able to give us a rundown of how things work at Michigan State University. So while I was in Michigan State University, of course, you need to be asking yourself, okay, after this, what next, right? Yeah. You need to start planning and thinking ahead. What do you want to do with your life? Do you want to do, what are you doing? I started from day one to start planning. Okay, I love the US. Now I'm here. I love everything I see. Yeah. Okay, what am I going to do after this scholarship, after this master's? Yeah. That was a big question. And from there, I started building my network. I started.
That is key. Yes.
Yeah, attending educational and informative sessions I can attend to help me navigate the US, because I've never been here, and
Yeah.
I was the only one that is here. My family is not here.
Yeah.
I don't have any family member to lean on or something. So I had to do everything myself and navigate. So I was, trying to make sure I attend every informative session, educational session, international office, anything they organize. I try to go ask questions as much as possible. My advisor was also there to help me with any question in terms of career.
Mm-hmm.
They also within the school there are different sessions,
Yes.
and you make sure that you are, make time for them, go for them, and then equip yourself with information. That way, you are making a clear and informed decision in terms of what you want to do after or with your life.
And I think that is important. You see, me too, I had the similar experience whereby when I came here, I first of all joined community college. I never had the funding. So immediately I got admitted here with the university, and then I transitioned to community college because it was cheaper at the point, so that I can be able to navigate. But one thing I failed to do in the beginning, and it's a big lesson once I joined the university after 2 years, was gathering information, getting all the information you can get. Because I remember when I was finishing my community college, actually, no, my first year of university, that's the 4-year college, I found out that there's some people who had got scholarship that I was qualified for, but I had not attended these networking events that were organized. But I thought maybe they're not important for me. I had this assumption that I'm an international student, I don't qualify for anything. But later on, I'm finding out, there's some people who are international students like me, but they got a full scholarship or they got some partial scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the second year is when I started getting involved, and at least I got some money funding because it was very important. And when I also joined the PhD program, the same thing. Now I had this idea that I have to gather information. I love how you're saying it. From day one, you have to find information. Information is very important in this country if you're going to navigate. And that's why, that's part of this conversation. Because without this
information.
we are passing information that people are not talking about. And that is awesome. So you're in Michigan, you did your master's degree there, right?
Yes, I did my master's degree at Michigan State University.
Yes.
And then, yes.
And then you transition to your PhD program.
Yes.
So you come here to Baltimore, Maryland, to Morgan State University, correct?
Yes, for my PhD program.
Yes. And that's what at least we met. Yeah, that's what we met. Now, you're a PhD student. There's a very important thing that most people don't really appreciate, choosing your mentor. How did you go about choosing your mentor, dissertation mentor?
Yeah, I would tell you that's another thing graduate students need to pay more attention to.
Yes.
Because your mentor contributes to your success, contributes to your career building. You know, when I chose my my mentor, who was then the dean of our school, the School of Science.
Yes.
So he was really equipped with network, connection, information, research-wise. He was really rounded, and that really gave me sort of confidence. In as much as he was the dean, I was, some people will say, oh, he's too busy, he may not have time for me. And I think even though he was busy, he still had time for me. And that really made me to, even on my own, go out of my way to figure out things, to find information, to, network on my own. While I bring back something, maybe information to him, and he will be like, okay, we can do this way. But then it has given me the opportunity to network with people outside my university, to even find information by just emailing someone else in another university. Okay. So that actually really gave me that platform. So it's very instrumental if you are choosing your supervisor as a graduate student. Make sure the person you are choosing is an expert in the kind of research that you want to do. Yes. Not just being an expert, but also have the resources in terms of research-wise. They have the lab, the space for you to do the research. Yeah. They have the financial, the grant, what they call research grants to fund that research. Yeah. And also not just funding the research, but also have a good mentoring skill.
Awesome.
because even though a mentor may have the financial capacity, may be an expert, but the mentoring may not be good. And
Yeah.
then you are frustrated as a student being under the mentorship of that professor. So make sure that you like the professor in terms of mentoring skill and style,
Yes.
because that way you develop a good relationship with your supervisor. And, having a good relationship with your supervisor also is very good in terms of career advancing and long term. You can build that relationship. So that's really very good if you are trying, as a graduate student, if you are trying to choose
Yeah.
an advisor.
And that's true. And if you're listening, if you're watching us, I think it's very important. That is especially if you are going for PhD programs, it's important to choose the mentor
Yes.
in a very wise way, because it can either be so painful, it can be very easy, And I think one thing that we should, especially international students, don't be afraid to ask questions to the person you want to work with. Ask them, how much money do you have? Or not necessarily how much, but ask them if they have enough money to fund you for the 4 years you're going to be doing a PhD. Ask them about their research experience, or look, that information can be able to see how many papers are publishing. You can even ask them their goals. I remember when I started working with my professor, because I knew I don't want to be there for a long time. And I knew if you're not publishing, then you're going to be there for. So you have to ask these questions. Don't be afraid. You have the right to be served. You see? So
Yes.
yeah, I think that was important. That was very important. Now let's go. You graduate. So one area that a lot of people are struggling in, especially now you're done with your PhD. Do you decide to go back home, or you want to look for a job here? If you're a STEM major, I definitely encourage you to stay here and do all the good jobs that are around here. So how did you navigate from now being a student to now the career field that you're in working?
Sure. Doing a PhD program, I would say, is a journey.
Yeah.
And within this journey, you have to figure out yourself.
Okay.
And this is a space where so many PhD students kind of lose themselves, because you see yourself doing a research for like a longer period of time, and you are so engrossed into that research that you forgot that there are other things out there. And then when you graduate, you are looking for maybe a position or a company that is doing that kind of your research, which is not realistic, right?
Yeah.
So during my own journey, I was asking myself one question: what will I do with my degree?
Yeah.
Where do I want to see myself? What kind of thing interests me most? And my research, was a little bit kind of tricky, because I wanted a research that will expose me to different, bioinformatics, statistics, and data analysis.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a research that would definitely expose me to that, because I realized that, okay, I think I want to go into data, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was how my research, what I wanted to do with my research. It doesn't matter what I want to do in my research. I just want that research to make sure it's exposing me to different tools.
The career that you want to go into.
Yes, that's all I care about. So it was a question I was asking myself what to do after I graduate, but then I see myself, the answer keep coming to go into data analysis.
Yeah.
So that was how I picked interest in data analysis. So even though during my program I didn't really have the room to really train myself to the point to be an expert, but I was exposed to data analysis.
That is
So
awesome.
I built my resume to highlight more of my data analysis skill, in as much as I had research skills, but I highlighted more of my data analysis skills. So that way, I started, towards my graduation, I started applying for jobs that, mention anything data analysis, research scientist, statistician, those kind of terms, because data analysis can come in different titles: bioinformatics, statistician, whatever it is. But once I see that, that data thing is in there, I try to apply to those kind of jobs, because that's where I want to go to. So that was how I started forging my career. And currently, I work with the Maryland Department of Health as a data analyst.
Yeah.
Is the job I got even before I graduated. I thank God for
Yeah,
that.
that is, I know that is awesome. I think let's just highlight what you just said, which is very important. Even while you're doing your PhD, you need to be thinking about what do I want to do next, so that you can be able to look for, you see, PhD is broad. I mean, it could be focused, but it's broad still when you think about the vastness of all the careers we can do. But it's always good to think, okay, I want to be working in this field, and what are some of the either classes or what, like, for example, I think your research was on some of bioinformatic processes, I think sequencing and all that. And it's good to think about what do we want to do next.
Yes.
So you don't, as you said it very well. Some people lose who they are. They forget they're so much into research. And then after you're done with the PhD, okay, you have no idea where to go. So it's very important if you're listening, it doesn't matter actually which field you're in, always thinking about the next step. Now I'm going to ask you one more question before I go to how you help people navigate. So the question that I have for you, and you know that I deal with personal growth, leadership development. I'm so much big in personal growth. What are some of the things that you've done in your journey here in the US in terms of making you or developing Nzube, making you to become a better person? What are some of the things that you do in personal growth to make you better?
For me, number one is I network.
Networking.
I network, especially with people I see that have walked through the path or that have something I aspire for. I network. And secondly, I go into training sessions.
Okay.
I enroll for training sessions. Is really very important, especially trainings that's related to the kind of career I want to go into. So I do training sessions. And secondly, I try to keep my inner circle with the kind of people that have the kind of ideology I have. People who want to grow, people who want to take risk, people who can guide you and encourage you to do stuff, right?
Yes.
And another thing I love to do is seizing opportunity. Sometimes you may say, why do I need this? I don't need this right now, but that opportunity is right before you. I seize opportunity. Sometimes I see myself that after seizing the opportunity and, doing everything, doing my best within that, later on, I see that thing I did was something I used to obtain another thing. Why I'm saying it is because when I started my graduate program and I made a decision I want to settle in the US, I started networking, building my network, involving myself in any kind of opportunity, community service, in any kind of training program, in any kind of research opportunity that come my way, teaching opportunity. I was involving myself in this because I'm like, okay, I want to settle in. I need to build a portfolio that will help me. If I graduate, I have something I can present. Okay. So, and while I was doing this, during my PhD program, I used all of this I have acquired, the community service, the teaching experience, the research experience, my network. I use that to now apply for my permanent residency, because you have to put up a writing to show that you have something to offer to the United States, right? So putting all of these things together, among all of the things I have acquired, even though I was really intentional doing this. So I put them together and I let them know, petitioned and said, okay, this is what I have done. I have something to offer to you guys. I need you have to give me the permission to stay in this country, to reside here and give you my valuable skills, right? Yeah. For the national growth. So when you are doing stuff, think about, where do you want to see yourself? What can you do to get yourself there? Those are very important. Seize opportunities. Don't take things, oh, I don't have time for that. I just want to go party. I just want to do this. No. Be intentional and know what you want. And then I will tell you, the sky is just a starting point. Awesome. US has a very great opportunity. So many opportunities you can tap into. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. What matters is where you are going and how you're going to get there. Oh, and there are so many ways you can do that.
That is beautiful. I think you just prompted, and you just, I know I said two more questions, but I'm going to ask you an additional question. And it's, you said it very well. You you added value so much to yourself. Even when you are petitioning for your green card, you will basically, you are negotiating from a stronger point because of all that you have gathered, the portfolio that you have built when you're sending the document. So I know most international students don't know this. It's true, we can petition our own green card. You don't need to go through like marrying somebody legally. You don't need to do all this crazy stuff. If you're an international student, if you are a master's degree or PhD, even some undergraduate, depending on the research that you're doing, especially STEM major, you can petition yourself. I think that's what I was going to ask you, maybe in a nutshell, about the petitioning process. Like, what some of the documents you need, because most people don't know about that.
Yeah, sure. That is something that is lacking. Most international students don't know that they can change their status as an international student to become a resident. You can go through that route. You can, as someone who is in academics, who is in research, you can. So you don't need to, wait for someone to employ you in their company for them to file for you. No, you don't need all of that. You can actually petition yourself as an international student, depending where you're coming from. Have you built your portfolio? What do you have? Do you have those exceptional abilities that is needed in the United States? So that's where you're coming. When you start your graduate program, make sure that you are intentionally building yourself, seizing opportunities. So when you are ready to now, change your status, you can actually, there are different ways you can do this. And some of the documents that are needed, we are recommendation letters. You need strong recommendation letters. And also you need a statement. That is what is called the petition statement.
Yeah.
Telling them, showing all that you have, what you have done, and what you plan to do, and how the skills you have is gonna, improve or add value to the United States economy. Everybody wants something valuable.
Yes.
Right? Nobody wants liability. So you have to show in your statement that you have all it takes. You have the skills, you have the abilities. This is what you've done, and this is what you are doing, and this is what you plan to do. Those things are gonna go into your statement. Right? And then you have your resume that shows your experiences. Right? You still have, you still need to, get other maybe application forms that you can put in. And also, while in your graduate program, make sure that you join professional associations. Those are really good.
Okay.
You are contributing to the scientific knowledge. You are contributing to the research knowledge. Make sure you are doing that as an international, as a graduate student, because those things are going to contribute on the things you have contributed to the country already, and what you are doing to contribute, and what you plan to do to keep contributing to the growth. So those are the things you need, and maybe any other thing like, things that will boost your application and make it a strong one, right? US is really very good because they're not telling you to pay a lot of money. They want you to bring in your skill. That's all.
Yes.
And you have it. Right? They've trained you into it, so you have it. You just have to show that. And for me, that is the path I took, to change my status from an international student to a permanent resident. And I have guided so many other people, international students I come across. I've guided them through, this process. And that's why I mentioned mentorship is very, very important. Information is a very strong thing in the US to succeed.
Yes, that is true. And that brings me to the final question, and I think it's one of the most valuable questions for today. I know you have an organization that you help students from the beginning to the end, from application, to navigating in the US, to now even this level, you can be able to you can change your status to green card holder. So can you tell us more about that? What is the name of your organization? Where can people find the information? Tell us more about that so that we can get more value from you.
Sure. Thank you so much for that. So as an educational coach and a mentor, I have an organization called ISA Global Education Services. You can Google that and you get direct to our website. Awesome. So within the ISA Global, we are an organization made up of human professionals who are really passionate in helping international students navigate right from counseling stage to help you direct, have a focus of what you want to do. Right from that counseling stage, doing the application process, getting your admission of visa preparation, and then onboarding into the United States. So our organization help international students to do or go through all of these stages without challenges and without stress. We guide you through how you can package your application, how you can package your resume, put up your statement of purpose, guide you through the applications, guide you through the things you need to look out for while doing your application. Because during application, you don't just apply to any school. Some people have made that mistake in the beginning, and then when they get admission, they tell me, oh, this school is very expensive. I don't have a financial support to. Then you've wasted a whole year.
Yes.
Doing, and not just wasting a year, you wasted money, time, effort, and so many other things. So it's better to get mentored and get someone who have gone through this process,
yes.
who have the wealth of knowledge to offer. So, and that's what our platform is for. It's a mentorship platform. We mentor people who are interested in studying abroad in the US, in UK, in Canada. So we mentor you through this process and make sure that you apply to the schools that will benefit you as an international student, and guide you through how you search and apply for scholarships, because we know financial is the most challenging factor when you talk about study abroad. Yes. And then we guide you through how you can get graduate assistantship, how you can, or anything you want to think about application process, studying abroad, and successfully getting admission and scholarship. That's what we do in our mentorship platform at ESA Global, ESA Global Education Services. And you can send us an email at info@isaglobaleds.com. And you will see that email maybe, in the description chat. Yes. So you can send us an email if you really need guidance, and we'll be here to help you out. Thank you.
That is awesome. I believe that there's a lot of information. All these links, I'm going to share it at the bottom of this video. And make sure you get all this information, because as we said, if you don't have information, you might be heading the right direction, but you might take for a long time. A person with information, they will take like half the time or even less the time. So it's very important. So thank you so much for this day and this wonderful time that you've shared with us, a lot of value. I believe that this will be so valuable to anybody who's gonna get their hands on this, and they'll be able to listen and to be able to, just follow. And remember, mentoring, information, always thinking about the next step, finding the right association or the right group or company is very important. So thank you so much, Dr. Nzube. I appreciate that time that we had, and I look forward to working with you some more.
Of course, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'll be looking forward to the next step, next big thing.
Awesome. All right, have a good evening.
Of course.
That was awesome, a great conversation with Dr. Nzube. I believe that it will add value to you. So if you found this to be valuable, and if you know somebody who can use this content, I've asked you to share with them, subscribe, make sure that you spread the word, because a lot of people are taking a long time to fulfill their dreams and to achieve their goals because they don't have the right information. And this is not only for international students, this is also for the people who are in the business world. If you don't have the right community, if you don't have the right information, if you're not having the right question, you will find that you're taking longer to get to achieving your goal. So don't hesitate to ask questions. Don't isolate yourself. Make sure that you're always asking questions, gathering information, because that is very important in you achieving your goals. Thank you very much for watching, even for listening. I appreciate your time. Thank you. Bye. That was awesome, a great conversation with Dr. Nzube. I believe that it will add value to you. So if you found this to be valuable, and if you know somebody who can use this content, I've asked you to share with them, subscribe, Make sure that you spread the word. A lot of people are taking a long time to fulfill their dreams and to achieve their goals because they don't have the right information.